Hey everyone, welcome! So, if you're a student diving into AI, you know that feeling, right? The excitement is huge, but then comes that one big question. What project should I actually build? Well, today, we're going to build your blueprint for picking that perfect first project, one that doesn't just get you a good grade, but really, truly sets you up for success down the road.
But first, let's have a quick reality check. Because, and this is a big one, not every idea is a good AI project. It's such a common trap, you know? You get this brilliant, super ambitious idea, and then it quickly becomes obvious that it's just not going to happen. Yeah, we've all been there.
So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you sift through all the noise and all the possibilities to land on a project that's not just cool, but is actually doable, impactful, and, let's be honest, pretty impressive? Well, you're in the right place because that's exactly what we're going to break down. Okay, so here's our 5-step blueprint. We're going to start with the why, then we'll get laser-focused on defining the problem. After that, we'll run a reality check, pick our tools wisely, and finally, we'll plan for a strong finish. Let's jump into step 1. First up, start with the why. Seriously, before you even think about a single line of code or any data set, you have to get this right. Your purpose, your reason, this is the absolute foundation of your entire project. So your main objective has to hit 4 key targets right from the get-go. First, it's got to be useful. It needs to actually solve a real problem. Second, it has to be realistic. You're aiming for a summit you can actually reach, not Mount Everest on your first try. Third, it has to be ethical. And finally, it absolutely must be aligned with the skills and resources you have right now. Nailing this balance, that's your first big win. All right, on to step 2, defining your problem. This is where we take that big, fuzzy, vague idea and sharpen it into a focused core concept. It's all about going from kind of cool to crystal clear. And a key idea here is what we call the problem domain. It's pretty simple, really. It's just the specific world your project lives in, the field or industry where your AI is actually going to be applied. And your domain could be anywhere. Maybe you're passionate about education and you want to build a new learning tool. Or maybe it's retail and you want to personalize the shopping experience. You could jump into cybersecurity, finance, or even something like agriculture to help improve crop yields. The key is to pick a domain you actually care about. That's what makes the project fun. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Look, the best projects aren't just about showing off your coding skills. A smart AI project solves a real problem, not just a technical exercise. That's the mindset that'll make your work and your portfolio really stand out.
So, what does this look like in the real world? Check this out. Saying you want to build an AI system for healthcare, that's just way too big. It's an ambition, not a project. But develop a machine learning model to predict the risk of diabetes using patient health data? Now that is specific. That's measurable, that's solvable. That's the kind of clarity we're aiming for.
All right, so you've got a specific, awesome idea. Fantastic. Now comes maybe the toughest part. Step 3, the reality check. This is where we take that brilliant idea and make sure it's actually possible to build. First things first, data. Is it even available? You have to ask this because data is the absolute lifeblood of any AI project. Without it, the best idea in the world is just, well, an idea. You need to know if you can get your hands on a good, clean data set that's big enough for the job. Next up, time for a little honest self-reflection. Do you have the skills you need for this? Are you comfortable enough with Python? Have you ever worked with libraries like TensorFlow or PyTorch? You've got to be real with yourself about what you already know and what you're prepared to learn along the way. And finally, let's talk about the practical stuff. Do you actually have the time and the resources? I'm talking about your class deadlines, your computer's processing power. Are you going to need a beefy GPU for this? And is this a solo project or a team effort? These constraints are super real, so you have to plan for them. See, the whole point here is to find that sweet spot. You want a project that's going to stretch you and teach you something new, but not one that's going to lead to total burnout. I love this piece of advice. Choose a project that challenges you but does not overwhelm you. Okay, your idea made it through the reality check. Awesome. Now we can move on to step 4. Pick your tools wisely. And this is about 2 things: choosing the right technical approach and, just as importantly, the right ethical one. Think of this table as your project cheat sheet. It helps you map your problem to the right tool. So, are you trying to predict a number, like a house price? That's a job for regression. Are you sorting things into categories, like spam versus not spam? That's classification. Matching your problem to the right technique from the very beginning is going to save you so many headaches.
But hey, knowing the technical tools is only half the battle. We have to stop and ask another, super critical question: is your project ethical?
Seriously, building AI responsibly is non-negotiable if you want to be taken seriously. This means you've got to protect people's privacy by using anonymized data. It means you need to be on the lookout for biased data sets that could lead to unfair outcomes. And it means being upfront and transparent about what your model can and can't do.
And here we are, in the home stretch. Step 5. Plan for the finish. This is all about setting clear boundaries for your project and knowing exactly what success is going to look like.
Defining your scope is an absolute project lifesaver. You need to be crystal clear on what's in scope, the exact features you promise to deliver, and what's out of scope. All those other cool ideas you can save for later. This is what stops that dreaded scope creep and makes sure you can actually finish on time.
And how will you know if you actually succeeded? You need metrics. Depending on what you're building, you might measure things like accuracy, precision, or maybe mean squared error. The real key here is to define these success criteria before you even start building. That way you have a clear target to aim for. So, let's pull this all together. Here is your final checklist. Before you commit, run your idea through these 6 questions. Is the problem clear? Is data available? Is the scope realistic? Have you addressed the ethics? Does it match your skills? And is the outcome measurable? If you can give a confident yes to all of these, you are in fantastic shape.
And I just want to leave you with this one last thought. A massive part of any successful AI project happens long before you write a single line of code. The planning, the thinking, the setup, it's everything. Because it's so true, a well-selected AI project is already halfway to success. Now go out there and build something amazing.